Hola 9 to 12s, I'm coming at you with your Spanish for the week. I've given you kind of an extra long vocab list, and this will last you for the next 2 weeks. Because the year is wrapping up, I wanted to make sure to leave you with some basic words and phrases that will really help you connect some of the larger ideas and parts of speech that we'd studied this year, such as verbs and adjectives and pronouns. You can connect those all with words like this. These are really useful if you're traveling in a Spanish-speaking country, trying to find your way around, trying to communicate with people. Just basic short words. I'm going to go over the pronunciation. Starting on the top left, and, y. But or however, pero, which is different than perro with 2 R's. That means dog. Also, también, very, muy. A little, un poco, or a little bit. A lot, mucho. For, you can say 2 ways, either por or para. Of or from, de. Or is just the letter O, and it's just pronounced O. If, si. At is a, remembering that in Spanish the letter A is always a. With, con. Without, sin. Always, siempre. Sometimes, a veces. Never, jamás. Remembering that that's a silent J, jamás. Now, ahora. This one's a bit hard to figure out if you aren't used to Spanish words. This H is silent, so it's ahora. Almost, casi. Like or as, como. Because, porque. Each, cada. Until, hasta. That's a silent H. Before, antes. After, después. Another word that's a little hard to figure out if you're just sounding it out and not used to sounding out words in Spanish. That's después. Every day, todos los días. Fairly or quite, bastante. I've also heard bastante used a lot to mean enough. Really, realmente. Overly, tan. Often, muchas veces. Rarely, raramente. More than, más que. Less than, menos que. The same as, lo mismo que. On the contrary, al contrario. And of course. You can either say claro or por supuesto. So those are your basic words for the next 2 weeks. You should be studying these twice a week or more. It's a great idea to study over Zoom with a friend. I know many of you have been doing that. You can make flashcards, you can make a poster, study them in a way that works for you, and do your best to learn as many as you can, especially 6th years. I would like to send you to middle school knowing as many of these words as possible, so this list is really important for you all. I have also posted your Spanish ASL learning links this week. In the Spanish ASL section of your folder. And so that's your Spanish. You will not have a new list next week. You will just stick with this list for 2 weeks, and I will not be making a new video for next week. So that is your Spanish. And I also have your 2 ASL words for the week. The next words in your list that we made were brother and sister. And they're easy, but they look kind of complicated. So I'll go through them slowly. They're very similar to each other. Both of them you start out with 2 fists. And those fists become pointer fingers out. And they end up like this, touching. So the brother one, you start with your fist on your forehead, bring it down to the other fist, and then pointer fingers out. So, brother. Sister is exactly the same, but you start on your cheek right here, sister. Brother, sister. So you could say, what's have? Oh, have. See, I'm forgetting. You can say, I have one brother. Or you could say, I love my sister. So those are your ASL words for the week. See if you can practice those a couple of times just so they stick in your head. That body movement repetition will help your brain remember. That is all I have for you this week for Spanish and ASL. Have a great week. Let me know if you have any questions. And remember to watch those ASL and Spanish learning links. This week they are all about poetry, and there's some really good ones in there. So have a lovely week. Adios.